is Weird663, and this is 7 Days to Die, making a tree farm. I seen this video online, and I figured I might as well go ahead and tweak it a little bit because it wasn't as educational as it should be. So I'm going to try to make sure that I answer a lot of questions that I had when I watched the video for everyone else to be able to make the same tree farm. In this video, I'm using Navi Games settings. I went ahead and cleared out a section of the cornfield. I used to use this method by placing down the wooden frames in a T shape with a gap in between each row. This allowed me to know exactly the right spacing for each tree. Alright, time to begin. After placing a row of T-shaped formations of wooden frames, begin placing a single row on the back part. This will take a total of 47 pieces of wooden frames from the beginning to the end. Now I'm not going to show you how to make every single row, but I will show you two on how to connect them. Right now I'm going to show you how to make a hatch elevator. So go to the front and count over 6 rows. You want to craft 18 barn wood and then stack them 6 high. When you go to step off the barn wood, you want to aim for the wooden frame so you can avoid fall damage. Now begin stacking 6 more barn wood on top of one another at the top left hand corner of where you placed the last ones. Now once you fall off, you want to go ahead and start working on your last row. Make sure you make it to the left of the first row with a gap in between. Place a wooden catwalk left to right on the back barn wood. Now let's drop down and go to the front and craft 18 hay bales. While the hay bales are being crafted, let's go ahead and place down 6 hatches. I want to make sure that when it opens, the lid is hitting the back of the wall. At the top, we placed a catwalk. This is to connect the very last hatch to it. You also have to use wooden frames to reach the top. Now let's test out our hatch elevator. Let's open it up, crouch down, go inside, stand up, and then hit triangle and close it, and then jump to the top. Now let's drop down and begin digging out a 2x2 hole around the front of the hatch elevator, and then placing our hay bales inside of it. Let's begin placing the wooden plates down. Let's go to the first wooden frame, remove it, and begin rotating the wooden plate until it's facing the other wooden frames. You want to place this down and then jump on top and go 6 high. And you want to do this for every row. Now let's begin removing all the odd wooden frames and placing a wooden frame inside the gap. Begin placing down 45 wooden plates and rotating them towards the wooden frames. Begin removing the wooden frames. While you're removing the wooden frames, make sure you have your dirt selected. While removing the wooden frames, if any dirt was actually disturbed, then it would have actually caused the gap, and the dirt would have fell inside, letting you know to place the dirt in there and fill in the gap. Now that it's safe to go ahead and place down the dirt, go ahead and do so, followed by 3 barn woods. You're going to continue this pattern all the way down. The dirt we're laying down is where you're going to be placing your trees on top of. Now let's place down wooden plates, facing in the direction of the dirt and the barn wood. Begin placing wood logs in the first section of the 3 barn woods in the center and stack them 4 high. repeat this process all the way down. Now let's drop down and remove the wooden frame. We want to go ahead and replace it with a wooden plate. You want to rotate it towards the row and stack it 6 high. Now turn around and place a wooden plate on the side of the wooden log and then jump onto it. And then you want to place the wooden plate on each side of the wooden logs all the way down. Alright, the last wooden plate you're going to have to get a little creative with. You'll have to actually put a wooden frame down, one block, and then you'll have to connect the wooden plate to the wooden frame, and then remove the wooden frame. Now place down a wooden frame above where you had it before. You're going to jump on top of the wooden frame, and then turn around, and then on both wooden plates and the wooden log, you're going to place plain ground on each one of them, and you're going to do this going all the way down the row. Once you get to the end, you're going to go ahead and place down a wooden frame. Then we're going to place wooden plates facing to this wooden frame and also facing towards the dirt. We're going to try to connect it to the wooden frame and then to the dirt, and then we're going to go all the way down the row doing the same thing. Once you finish going down the row, you want to turn around and go the other way. As you place the wood plates down, you'll begin to notice that square gaps are being formed. This is to allow the trees as they grow to grow up and go through those. Alright, now we just finished one row. Not done yet. Remember, you got to go ahead and till up each one of the dirts before planting any crops, but I'm not going to show you that. Instead, I'm going to show you how to get around when you're up top. To get around up top, you want to place down wood catwalks with rails all the way down the wooden plates. And then you want to connect them using wood catwalk corners. Now you want to do this going all the way down the outer row, but the inner row is going to be a little bit more tricky, and I'll show you how to do that in a moment. Now to connect the pillar of wooden plates, you want to connect 2 wooden catwalk with rails to it. Then you want to place 1 wood catwalk followed by a final wooden catwalk with rails to that. So we don't fall off while we're up here. We want to make sure we place a wooden rail in between the 2 catwalks on the left-hand side only. Now let's begin placing the wooden catwalks and the wooden catwalks with railing all the way down in the pattern shown before. Now take a quick stroll and enjoy the marvel of the catwalk you just created. Now let's drop down and begin placing the wooden plates along the wooden frames. And I'm going to show you a slightly different method. Alright, let's begin placing down wooden frames and climb to the top. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take a wooden plate and we're going to rotate it to the top. Now we're going to connect this wooden plate to the other wooden plate, which is above the wood log. Now since the wooden plate acts as a block, it's going to connect to the block and seem like it's floating. Now what we're going to do then is take the wooden plate and then place it next to the wooden log, and then we're going to turn around and place the wooden plate faced on to the side of the other wooden log. We're going to jump over top of there, turn around, and place the wooden plate on the other side of the wooden log, and then place the wooden plate onto the wooden plate next to the log. And we're going to repeat this all the way down the row. Now let's begin placing down the dirt on top of the wooden plate and the wooden log. Once we get done, we're going to jump over on top of the floating wooden plate. We're going to turn around, and then we're going to start placing the wooden plates facing the dirt. Afterwards, we're going to start placing down the wooden catwalk with rails. After we place down the wooden catwalks with rails, we're going to go ahead and put down the dirt, and then we're going to place the wooden plates onto the dirt, and we're going to continue this process all the way down the row. Now let's finish by connecting both rows together with the same method. 2 wooden catwalk with rails, followed by a catwalk, and then a catwalk with rails again, and then connect the catwalk to the one that you're standing on, and then voila, you have successfully made 2 connecting rows. Now that I've showed you how to connect 2 rows together, now each row has 12 trees in it and 33 crop spots. That total comes to 396 worth of crops and 144 trees. I prefer to use the pine cone trees because of the lag. When you're done yielding your wood, that comes to 108k worth of wood. With this design, you can easily reach over the rails and pick up your crops and plant new ones without having to worry about zombies attacking you. I am Weird663, and this has been your tree farming guide and how to create one on 7 Days to Die. I hope you enjoyed the video and come back for more.